my voice isn't too loud. I think I corrected that the other day, so let me know if everything's good. Yesterday's stream had a problem with the power going out in the building, so got interrupted. So there's 2 streams yesterday. That's why there was maybe 5-10 minutes of a pause in between. And anyway, so you should be able to watch one after the other. And I think we finished a lot of the work. I think there's one more thing that I need to finish here, which is adding a button for another stream here. So just to review for those that are joining for the first time, we're creating an application that's allowing the organization of an open spaces event, which is participant-led type of conference. It's also called an unconference, where people can suggest topics and then they vote for what they want to talk about. And generally, they have a overarching theme. I was just at Como Camp, which was the theme, of course, was collaboration. So collaboration techniques such as event modeling, event storming, domain storytelling, all sorts of things. And the people that are the inventors of those methodologies and people that are practitioners of those methodologies gathered in Vienna, and we had a really good time. So we're going to do the same thing with in Berlin with event modeling. And so we thought, instead of using sticky notes to organize all these things, I think, let me see if I can show you what that is, what that looks like. Oops. Get rid of this and see if I can. Where's my media stuff? Media. Do I have this here? Yes. So this is kind of how things look when you're organizing this. People come up and pitch what they want to talk about. And you can see there is a number of topics that people have suggested. And then there's a number of rooms that you have. So for each day, there may be a different, so we have to digitize this. So having an application that allows you to organize the topics would be advantageous. And I guess we haven't really gone through the logistics. We've just gone through the setup of the days and all this, and then the subject, suggesting the subjects. We haven't really designed how the system's going to work at the beginning of each day. So in this particular case, we have some interesting workflows, because you can see there's some things that are left for tomorrow because there's a 2-day event. So all the topics were suggested for, 1 day here for the first day, and then some leftover things for the following day. So we're going to have to create a digitized version of this so that, I don't know, we can try it out, but it's using event modeling, which is one of those tracks here. The WPS room was the room that most of the event modeling chatter happened at this event. And so that's kind of the update. So this event model is kind of just a guinea pig for this right now as an example project, but we'll continue to evolve it over the next little bit. So let me just zoom out and explain what this is. So these are the 2 types of the 2 types of users that are going to be using the system: the organizer or organizers, and the participants. Going to be seeing different screens for different purposes. So of course we have the naming of the open spaces event and setting the start and end dates. Some of these events are just 1 day, some of them may be 2 or 3 days. And then once that's set up, the actual event does start, and you have the participants. You remember the bottom row is what the participants see. They can suggest different topics, And the facilitation can be, that could be someone that's an expert and wants to present their ideas, or it could be someone that's just interested in a topic and is looking for experts. It can also be a fishbowl discussion where someone suggests a topic that should be discussed by members of the community. And so that's what the facilitation field is for. When you submit your topic, it gets into a list of all these. And so we have suggest another. So we actually built this up. I think we're missing this button here. I forgot to add that yesterday. And then we really have to, this is really a single room event. So we have to make these as tabs instead and have these as rooms, right? So this would be room 1 and this would be room 2. And then here we would have, something like day 1 of the event, right? And maybe add a couple of arrows. If you want to plan the whole 2 days in one go, you could probably, but I think what I've seen is that at the beginning of each day, you suggest more and more, and you may have. So there's a voting. There's also a voting mechanism in most. The Como camp had enough rooms so that there was no voting for topics. There was enough space for everybody, which was really nice. So there's quite a lot of rooms. If I go back to this, you can see that there's other locations even, so people could meet in hallways about different topics. That was really nice. There was no physical restriction on where people could meet, which is kind of cool. So this little hotel conference venue was quite nice in having all these possibilities for all of that. But sometimes that's, not everyone has that luxury. And if you're constrained to, 5 or 4 rooms or whatever, and you only have so many time slots in the day, you want to have a voting system. So what people want to talk about most gets addressed. There's always room for hallway talks, and some of those more niche things, I guess, could be discussed in the hallways. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I got to turn off my notifications. Yeah, I always forget. Where's that notification button? Here it is. Okay, notifications are off. Yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me. I haven't been just talking into the ether. Always just check that things are going according to plan. I think it's working. So, okay, that's kind of the application that we've been working on. And this structure here is the application that's kind of planned here. And of course, this event model, which shows the workflows, is the, okay, great. Thanks, Larson. Carl Larson or Carl. Thanks, Carl. This is the design, which I hope most projects will actually have at the root of the repository. Instead of a README, like most places have a README, this would be replaced with an event model. So, yep, this is our event model here. What else is missing from this event model? Well, I kind of like to have this a little bit. Oops, let me get my chair to the right height. There we go. Usually we have these workflows named at the top. So let's move this down a bit and name these workflows. So, something that explains everything would be at the top. So I'd have an arrow, maybe a larger arrow. Let's see how those work. I guess they can't be drawn. Let's do shapes in general. Here's an arrow. Okay, so what is going on? Direction. Oh, that's a connector. Okay, so it won't let me draw arrows, but I have to drag and drop these? I guess so. Okay. So here's an arrow. And why is it snapping to weird places? I don't like these arrows. It's snapping to grid. So I'm guessing if I zoom in a bit, it'll do it properly. Let's just see if I can get a fill going that's decent. Yep, that's kind of what I want. Now, this arrow should explain what's going on for the most part here. That's what I like to do, is explain the workflows. And I think all of this would kind of, if you're thinking in terms of agile management, this would be kind of an epic. You know, you would call this, let's get some text on here. Can I get text on here? Where's the text? More shapes, advanced. I guess I've only been double clicking on things. So I can add text here. And call this event setup or open spaces setup. That looks horrible. Can I move this up? Okay, good. So I can move this up, and the text I really want to be a lot bigger. Position relative. Okay, so 11 points. We kind of want to crank that up to probably be 60. Size 60. Good. And I kind of like it to be the same color as what we're looking at here. So almost. Is it more of a neck? Why is it such an ugly color? Okay, let's try this. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So open spaces setup. Style here, nope. Okay, so that's kind of where we have the setup. Then I like to kind of duplicate this down below and get into the explaining the smaller bits of what's going on. So I think here we actually have up to here, we have naming there. Yep. And we want this. Smooth these over so line up. Okay, good. So now we have some arrows, named arrows to work with as shapes. And yeah, I like to call out what each part of this is. So when you zoom out, you don't have to really look at the screens to see what's going on, but you know that this is the whole setup. And over here we have a couple of different areas that we're doing for the setup, such as here we have dates, setting dates for the event, right? And so now when you're zoomed out, you know what's going on. This has to be brought down. And here we have this, which we'll copy. And this particular workflow is topic suggestion. And again, event modeling is about showing things by example. So we're trying to use real data while oops, this is going to be bad. That's changing the arrow. So one of those irritating things about Draw.io is, you know, you gotta be careful what you click on and all that. And obviously it's not click. See, you gotta change the shape of the arrow. Zoom in a bit and get it aligned on there. There we go. Try to press shift to keep it aligned. But anyway, so here we are. Can make it a little more concise, but I am going to move this back to make some room. But right now we kind of get the flow that we set up an event, and now we're about to do some topic suggestions. I'm just going to move this up a bit. I think we got some slight misalignment, but yeah, and of course I set this up in layers. So these squares behind this are tracking, so how far I got. So for example, I have this as done, and it was me that was doing this. So I finished this setting the dates for the event, and as you can see, I'm also doing some color coding here as to what input and output of the data is. So whenever I'm setting something, putting data into the system, that's color coded as blue, you can show that it's actually entering the system. And whenever I'm showing something out, like information being displayed, it's green. These state views are green. It collapses kind of all of the previous events. So I could have a whole bunch of previous date set events here. And it would only show the latest. So I can show that specification down below. We can get into those things eventually. So topic suggestion, it goes up here. And I guess one thing I got to do is add that arrow. So if we go to the actual code, we have the views here. And we have current sessions, right? So sessions is what we have here, and we need we need to have a button in here. So let's just I'm using Cursor AI, which is a fork of VS Code. It's probably got the best large language model integration, better than Copilot or anything else, I think. Gonna define the scope of like what it finds. It was really good. If you watch yesterday's second stream, there it found disorganized constructor parameters. So I had them in the wrong order. It quickly found that was the issue and suggested patches that were correct to fix the problem. So yeah, it was easy for me to fix, but it took time. It would take time for me to go and manually find those. So, there's these small cases where AI is incredibly helpful, and for these simple tasks, it's really good. So let's try. Oops, I didn't want that. I wanted the chat. So we'll do a new chat. I can highlight things and do it inline, which is why I like Cursor AI, because I can kind of go here and say Control K and just add a button to go to suggest another topic. Right, it should suggest topic, but do we actually have that? Did it dream up this? Did it dream up a suggest topic route here? So let's take a look at the routes that we have. Do we have, see, it's got submit topic, which is taking the post, but there's also a get for this. Submit dates, where do we have here? Name the open space. Submit topic get, right? So it has this submit topic. So it did actually get it. I forgot whether it actually was taking, so suggest topic, and this is submit topic. So it's actually not getting it right. So okay, so that's the difference. When you press Control K in here and ask it to do something, it really has, I think, only the context of the current thing. So if I just take this out and I don't want this. This is wrong. And instead, I do a new chat. It's a little more powerful because it gives you the whole code base, and you can control what goes in the code base using this cursor ignore. So I don't want to see anything in VS Code. I don't want to see any of our actual events that are written to disk, which I might change my mind on. Obviously, I don't want to see anything that's in the node modules. I don't want to see the XML for how draw.io is stored. I don't want the lock package either, but I do want to see the package.json just so it has a little more context as to what it's working with. So that's our ignore pattern. And so here, let's try and suggest this through the chat with the code base and see if it does a better job at placing a button. It'll also give you a patch which will assume, I don't have to be in a specific place in the file. It'll apply it to where it thinks it's best. So I can say I need a button on, and I can mention the actual files, right? So here we have session handlebars to suggest another topic. And maybe after we get this running, let's actually run the application and go from beginning to end of that workflow and see how this looks in an event source system. We do have this event store folder where all the different events get added. And of course, we were kind of experimenting, so there's different naming formats. I'm going to clear that out and make sure everything runs from scratch. Yeah, so I need a button to suggest another topic. Oh, that's a problem. I hit enter. That is wrong because it doesn't have everything. So I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to say this control enter to do it with the actual code base. So see, it reads all the files, so it kind of knows your solution. I can expand this and 8 others. And then over here, it gives us a notice that it's submit topic. So if we go back, and so if I can just apply this here. See, apply. And I can apply to where I want this, which is here. And usually it's kind of funny because it usually knows that it wants to apply it to the file. So this is kind of odd. Maybe they changed something here. So maybe if it's not sure where I want the button, let's give it a better prompt. So this is kind of generic, kind of my fault. I need a button to suggest on the topic after someone suggested something already. So maybe now it'll know that oh yeah, so if it puts this up here, it means I can apply it without getting a prompt for this. So, or does it? I think they changed something here. Anyway, let's try. Yeah, I think this is new. So here it's added this here, and I can just accept. I'm not sure why it says undefined here. That might be another bug. Cursor AI is a fairly new product, but it's quite good in terms of getting the right stuff. So let's see if all of this works. So we may get some bugs, but we'll fix them along the way. Let's shrink this down, and I really want to get rid of all of our past events. We also have some other issues with this, which it's taking a while to move them to. That's very odd how long it takes for files to get erased and or deleted in VS Code. Anywho, it's strange. VS Code is not my preferred editor at all. It's started off with a lot of JetBrains tooling, and I really want to work on NeoVim because I have a tablet-like phone, so I want the terminal to be useful on here, and NeoVim is a good way to do that. But this AI stuff isn't as well integrated into anything that you get in NeoVim currently. CodePilot isn't really up to snuff to this anyway. So let's actually run all this and see how we go. So node, oh, did we not? NVM. Okay, node app.js, go. And where do we have our session from last time? I think it's here. Right. So I think we start off with name the open space. Nope. What do we call it? Go to the views. Let's go to app, and we get, what do we have here? Get, and we had rooms. We didn't actually want to improve that. We don't actually have rooms yet. Schedule create space, I think, and set dates. So create space. Let's do that. So we probably want like an index that gives us kind of a status where we are. Create space. Okay, please name the open space. So we have event modeling, events, event, open spaces, and set the name. Okay, so that's good. It should be in here, right? So created this. The events aren't, we have to change the events. I have a ID that's inside the name now. So here it has undefined ID. So it should be that's misspelled as well. It's undefined ID. So a number of little things we got to correct, but so far we actually got the information into the system. Now we can set the dates for this. Let's say that it's a 2-day event. It's going to last here, and we set that. Oh, perfect. So we have an issue, which is good. Cannot read the properties of undefined. Create event file with path. Yeah, so I figured that's one of the things that we didn't really do yesterday is consolidate the edits that we did for the last page to how events in general get stored. So let's fix all that. So we look at what we did yesterday. We have the ID added, so we don't have this across all of our gets and posts. So let's make sure that now let's see if AI can solve this actually, because it should have that. So type error. Let's just make sure that we have as much context as possible. So we'll copy that. We'll add a new chat. See if AI will fix all these things, because these latest things for submit topic are kind of the way we want to do things. It has, IDs added to events. It's checking for duplicates. If we already have something defined exactly the same way, etc. So let's check if AI can do this for us. So say do that and say submit topic as the proper implementation for storing events and related concepts, I guess. Please make the solution consistent. Like the use of IDs, etc. And we'll do this with the code base and see what it says. So that's pretty good that it gives us this. And I quite like that each area has this apply. So it should probably get us through this. Let's play dumb and let it apply to set date. Where is this here? Date set event. Okay, so it doesn't have the ID though. This is wrong. Reject. I think I got confused with these IDs. Is included in all events and posts and gets. So that was a good try, but I didn't like the fact that it removed the ID. And of course, the ID here is missing. So let's see what it says. Set date range. Well, you know what? I really don't like that there's no ID here. That's good. We want that. That's definitely an error. App.js, set dates, submit dates. We don't have an ID at the beginning. I think this shows, so it suggests things here. I think it's ID. Yeah, ID. And submit dates. I think we get it from the request because we have, yeah, that's what we did. We don't want to have a duplicate ID if we refresh on a post. So we want to check for duplicates because we have this. Yeah, so where do we have the submitted to timestamp? Topic submitted to ID includes, right. Existing files, using filter. So we want to double check existing files length. I really want to refactor this to be, you know, edit. Yeah, I really want this to be a new chat because I don't like this logic here. It's really ugly. So add to chat and say make a helper function that checks if an event with the same ID already exists and only write the event if no event of that ID exists. Very wordy, but let's see if it does it. Oops. Again, I want to cancel that and do this with the code base instead. See if it knows what to do. I kind of dumped it all together, which I don't like, I don't think. It's not returning something. Maybe that's good enough. So it still wants this path created there. The path really should be determined by the event itself. So that's almost there. Let's see if we can add that. Use the event itself for all information about the file. Right. Don't use any other parameters other than the event. Oops, again, need to really train myself to do Control Enter. Let's see if it got it. I don't think it might have gotten it. This looks pretty good. If not, write event if not exists. Okay, good. So let's just give ourselves a little more room here. So it is only taking the event like I told it to. Write event if not exists. That's pretty good. Create the event with a file name of path, which it's doing that. Why is it erasing the word event? I don't want that. No. Okay, so almost got that. And then it's got event timestamp and event ID. Then it reads all the files in there to see if it actually has that. This looks very wordy. I guess. Yeah, let's apply this. So good. So that kind of got rid of all of that. I do like that. So accept that, but I do not like this part where it's getting rid of the name event. Is that because this create file name with path has something to add the word event to it? Yes. And I don't know why that has it. These events are named correctly, or are they? Yeah, they are named correctly, so we don't need to append that. Or do we strip it out somewhere? Well, certainly don't want that extra logic confusing things, so event name is enough. It's just the .json here. That's fine. Create name with path. And so we have that. Again, this should just have the event, open spaces event. And I have a bit of refactoring here. And I don't need any of those things. This should have everything in the event that it needs. If not, yeah, I kind of don't want to do this. That's just, yeah, simple is the easiest. Formatted time, it's fine. This should be event time, which is really event, and it's not event name. This is the actual event, and this would be event dot date timestamp. What do we have here? Start timestamp. Okay, timestamp. So that's what we called it. And here we definitely don't have that name here. We need the event dot constructor dot name. And why is it getting rid of the event name? Just want the name. That still looks good. I know it looks like a mess here, but really it's about making sure that we write these down into our storage with the proper IDs and all that, and the actual event is the only thing that needs to be done. And this is really irritating as well. Why are these not functions? So annoying. That's better. So again, I don't know why it thinks that's better. I guess you could also add some instructions to the AI to never use that form of defining functions. I guess we could get the AI to do all that for us. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of typing all that myself. So I'm going to say make all const function be regular functions instead in app.js. Yeah. I don't think it's doing the right thing here. What is it? Function open space named. Oh, here. I guess it is doing the right thing. But is it? That's the last thing it wants to change. So right. Okay, that's why is it changing this? What's it changing? Yeah, I don't think it got it. I think it's confused. So yeah, there's only so much you can ask of AI still. I'm gonna have to change these myself. At least it has the right. Yeah, I can just tab. So it's actually helping me once it sees the proper context of what I'm doing. So if I have any more of these crazy things anywhere here, I think that's it. Actually, I got rid of them all. All right, good. So the problem was we stumbled on the set. Create space is really where we want to. It's a submit topic. So okay, the other thing is let's actually clean this up a little bit more. We have all the requirements here. We kind of want all the app use stuff in one area, the port, etc. See, all of this is all over the place. Let's move this up. Does Control Shift up work? Yes, it does. So obviously the file system is a primary thing that we really need. This is something that we need. These engines and views and all that can stick together. This is kind of part of the app. So you kind of say where it runs. These are all our actual requirements to run our consts in these areas. Okay, so we can find our way a little bit easier. Some append event to file. I think we are not using this function anymore, so let's get rid of it. This is kind of like a test. We should redirect. That's another thing that I want. Like if we're in the middle of setting up the event, I kind of want a projection of how far we got to kind of throw us to the right page. So we'll leave that as a future requirement. App listen. Okay, that's kind of like the getting ready part of the application. Oops. So let's move that up here. We don't have rooms. We're gonna redo this. I'm not gonna have that. This is just fake schedule data. I don't think we want it anymore. That's just throwing us off. Don't have a schedule yet. Create that. So we have a create space where we show the actual, right? So we have create space. We can say Control K, redirect to create space, so that when we just go to our root path, it just goes to create space for now. Sure. So I think it's Control Enter. Okay, so that's good. So this gives us our create space. That's the get. Where's the post for create space? I think it's namespace or something. Name the open space. Yes, there it is. So we can take all of this. This is really bad. We're going to have to rewrite this. Look how huge this is. So this is something that we need to rewrite. Do we have the right order of things? We probably want our helper, all our helper functions, get all event file names. These dumb things I really like to just have on one line so I don't have to scroll past too many things. I know people like their white space and all that, but I really don't. I hate scrolling more than I like white space. How's that? Hello there from YouTube. Let's move that up. So These are going to be all our helper functions. So get all event file names. That's exactly what we have. Hello, Akshay. Let's get, these are specific views. We will break these out, I think, into separate separate files later. Right now, I just want things to be in app.js as we're working through the simple steps, just so everything's in one place. You can step through the code a little bit easier than having to fly around through too many things. So I could easily add the actual events also in here. I mean, this could really, a lot of this could be sitting in one file right now so that we could see where everything is. And we could name these areas. So, right, room created, we don't really need yet. Let's get rid of that so that we're not, so that we don't have this. So delete. Yeah, let's, we're basically simplifying this as much as possible. We got to get rid of this as undefined. So we're not gonna start over again once we fix some of these things. Move to trash. So this is our event store. Really is, our it is our file system that takes care of, like, usually you'd have a database, some sort of a database for your events, but right now we're just using the file system. It's easy. It's file system is really an example of key value store, which is built into all operating systems, so you should be able to run this everywhere. Again, I don't want more useless stuff like this. I don't want it to take up a lot of real estate. I don't want to be flying around through too much. Same with this, like, do I really need 3 lines to show that I'm just redirecting to my default space? No, I don't. So I want to be nice and terse. Create space. Again, it's just some boiler plate type, not boilerplate, but just some default stuff that I'm sending, which is getting a current date, which I really don't need to get the current date. I mean, this was really testing the template engine. So I really don't need to do this. In fact, I should probably get rid of it all. I think that should be enough. And actually we do need something here. This is where we have an ID being passed in. So let's Control Z. This is one of the things that we did to make sure that if we refresh a page that is shown as a result of a post, we don't get a second event generated, because we actually pre-populate the IDs in the form as a hidden form. So let's make sure that we have this this type of mechanism already done here. So we will actually make an ID, and that suggests the right thing. So AI is really helping here because it knows that I did that in the other method, and this is going to be a default thing we do for all gets. If it goes to if that get actually goes to something that will have a form for posting. So every time we redirect to a form that's a page that's going to have a form where we post some information, we want to pre-populate the ID so that if we refresh that page, we're not submitting duplicate events, because we'll already have that event with that ID and we won't write it again. So that's good. Never read. That's okay. So create the space. We should have that. So now if we go to the create space, name the open space, post method, button, input type. So we didn't even put the actual date anymore in here, but we have this hidden hidden field, right? Input hidden ID. So okay, it knows that I'm going to be submitting that. So this is really good because that, you know, even JetBrains before all the AI stuff, that would be a number of manual steps. Now it knew to add this, which is exactly what we need. And then so when we create the space, we can pull the ID out of the post. So if we go back, so I have to make sure to save that. So if we go back to set the name of the space, name the open space, right? So create space, name the open space, right? Okay, so create space. Yeah, we need to redo all of this because we really, I mean, there is some, sure, that's great, but we need the ID as well. And then here we need the ID, right? And then if we go to definition here, open named space, we need the ID, right? That's good. AI is really good in this case. This was quite nice. And why is it not automatically saving? This is annoying. I had that turned on. Where's my preferences? Sorry, chat. I'm gonna have to move you over here. So let's go to edit. Sorry, file, preferences, VS Code settings, and then autosave. Autosave, unfocus change. After delay. I don't know. What's the delay? It doesn't tell me. Off is default. That's a horrible default. After delay, autosave delay, on focus, an editor with changes is that we say when the editor loses focus. We say when the window flows. Okay, let's just do that. Select regions. Okay, so that should do it. I hate forgetting to save changes, so now this should fix that. Okay, so I got timestamp and ID in all of our events. There's obviously a case for having something be a prototype, which is a JavaScript thing to replace inheritance and all that, where we kind of want timestamp and ID to be in all of our events. But for now, I'm just being explicit. You can refactor that step later. Okay, so we have some testing. Now, as we move to the proper given when then with commands, etc., we'll see that we will have a better way of doing this. But for now, that's fine. This gets us to where we want. We have the space name here. We have the proper date. It's now a proper event. And are we using create event file with name with path? Is this what we're using everywhere? Yes, and I think this create name with path just needs the event, right? Because we're going to be using that. So here's another one where we need to just use the event. So give me the event. And then here we can do the cons date range set event. We just actually called that date set event. That's probably going to fix that. And I think, why is that different? Yeah, see this one here, right event if not exists. Okay. So we shouldn't be using this. We should be using the other one if not exists. Where is this? Create event with not exists, if not exists. Create event. Where did that code go? Write event if not exists. Okay. Create event file name with path. Okay, so it's doing that, and we have a stupid thing taking the event name out. Nope. Events. Okay. Good. Right. Right. Oh wow. What a question. So Killer Max, working on a test. I'm working as a tester. Currently want to move forward in development. My analytical skills are pretty good, but lack critical thinking. Well, I'm not sure if you actually lack critical thinking. That's okay. Everyone started somewhere, so no matter what you want to do, just start. The more important thing is really what you like, and so you have to try a few different things because that's what's going to give you the drive to become good at either web development or this data analytics. What is the thing you're really passionate about? So try things that are in both areas, and see where you feel better, and pursue that. And even if you make the wrong choice a few years down the road or months down the road or whatever, it'll be a lot easier to pivot to move from data analytics to web or vice versa, because you already have the skills using a lot of the IDEs and just thinking about algorithms and programming anyway. So I wouldn't sweat it. Just make sure that you have the motivation there to keep you going, kind of to get you through your first 10,000 hours of this stuff, because that's what's going to really count is your experience. There's no substitute for that. But at the beginning, when you have no experience, you have to have the motivation and the work ethic to get through to get your experience. So yeah, I can't really answer that question for you. It really depends on what you prefer, but good question. Let's see. Next, let's keep going through this. So we have a write event if it doesn't exist. Do we need to worry about this create file name with path? Because this is already trying to find if it exists, which it really doesn't. Oh, let's wait a second here. Create file name with path. Create file name with path. So this returns just the name. Can inline all this stuff. Again, this is a helper function. I don't want it to confuse us. Just get rid of that and put it in here. And get rid of this. And of course, we have an issue because we can't have the semicolon here. So that should be good. I don't think there's any other issues with this code here, but it is now just something that gives us a file name with the path. Don't want to be looking at this a lot, so I'm going to be... I can always expand this, format it to be nice if I need to fix something in it, but now I really don't want it taking up real estate. That's good enough. Yeah, the lead code and all that is great. As long as you're creating things. So, I mean, the only thing I can offer you that others aren't is to, uh, learn something like event modeling. Event modeling is what we use to think about solutions so that you don't get lost down rabbit holes and you can keep yourself focused on getting through, different steps that the system has to get through to accomplish a greater goal. So, we always um, look at an event model, which is really kind of like a walk through your system. So in this, what I'm working on is fixing up these blue boxes and green boxes here, where I'm basically saying what are the screens on the web, what are the web pages doing in terms of passing information to the backend and then showing them again. Right, so we have this setup. We're naming things here, then we're setting dates here. Then there's topic suggestions by participants. This hopefully will help. I mean, it really helps in hackathons too. Like people are wanting to really quickly set up, divide and conquer. They have a whole bunch of people they're working with. They need to quickly divide and conquer, kind of like a general design of what they're going to do. So then they start to work off of these slices to divide up the work, and that's kind of what we do. So if you're starting in programming, this is something that I wish I had when I was starting. I was doing some rudimentary designs on pieces of paper, graph paper, to kind of help me design some of the aspects of what the program would do. But it isn't until I started simplifying things, event sourcing is another thing. So you'll notice that we have these events. So instead of going to a database right away, what we're doing is just writing things down in files of what happened. Like when I submit something from a form, just write down that info into a file, right? Allow these green boxes then to like inspect those files to show whatever you need. That's a real simple way to get into programming, right? Because you're not introducing a whole bunch of SQL or other like complex database setup, right? This whole thing really just works on Node and Express. A very simple mustache syntax or handlebar. Where is this? Your views. So like if you're making a form, right, you can see what it shows depending on what you set from the back. So that's, I think this is a good place to start if you're really wanting to learn to program. It's fairly simple. You can see the code here is very easy to follow as to what's happening. We have in the app here, you can see that what happens. This is a nice one here because when you have a topic that was submitted, we get all of the information from what was submitted here: the name, the type, the topic. So the person's whoever suggested it in that form, the type of talk, the name of the topic, and we load the ID. And then of course we pass all of this into here as to when it happened, and then we write that if it doesn't exist, and then we get the green box on that diagram to say, hey, what sessions exist, and then we render those sessions using this other view, right? And if we have any kind of issues, we kind of pass that out as an error message. But that's it, right? It should be as simple as this to really understand a system. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out. But if you want to know about event modeling, just go to eventmodeling.org and read it there. And of course, if you are in Europe, I forgot to mention that. Where do we have it here? Yeah, so we have 11 days, 10 days left. If you want to be if you're in Europe and you're in Berlin, come to the workshop sorry, the open spaces event, which is here. So that'll be, I'll be there to facilitate. So will Alexander, who came up with a whole framework for drawing these diagrams and then generating code out of them. So in Node and PHP. So yeah, yeah. If you're, I'm going to be doing these every day, so you can walk through this, this simple creation. Yeah, it's there's a lot of people in India that are doing event modeling. It's actually really good to interface. I know a lot of people that in India want to work on contracts in the West, in the US and Canada and Europe. An event model allows you to do fixed cost pricing so that you can guarantee functionality for a fixed cost. There's some, people always had bad experiences sometimes with outsourcing to different companies, especially if it's foreign companies. But event modeling allows you to keep things transparent and honest, and I think it's a real good way to engage across the globe and erase some of those problems that you have when you're outsourcing stuff. So yeah, tell your friends in India to subscribe as well, and they can hopefully change the world for the better, so we can have really good collaboration for creating projects this way. But anyway, back to work. Let's fix this up. I want the rest of the posts to be as nice and clean as this, where we really get the information for the event that we want to store and create a timestamp for it, and then instantiate it and write it to our event store folder right here, and then go ahead and render the next screen. If that screen requires some dynamic information, we grab it here, right? We can, again, this is really verbose. I kind of don't want to have this here. It's really just passing things along. There's nothing special going on here. It's a really boring code, but we don't need all of this, right? Can that work? Why is that not working? Oh, sessions. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we need. Yeah. So we render the sessions with the sessions property. Hopefully that's what we have in our sessions view. Let's see. Yeah, for each in sessions. So that should work. Okay. Right, so we've even further, and this timestamp as well. Like, does it really need to be in here? Right. We kind of want to map all of this because it kind of helps things being less verbose. But then, the timestamp can just be. We don't really need that. Right, that's the same thing. We really don't need this. This looks just fine. It's still readable. There's boring stuff like this. The timestamp and ID are always there. I kind of want them to actually be as the last parameters. The important stuff to be kind of the first parameters. So that's more readable. So we've cleaned this up to be, quite slim. This is quite a lot of good stuff happening here when we submit something. And so we want this helper function. Again, just a little bit, taking up a little bit too much white space here, especially when we're presenting. Okay, so yeah, there's the event path. Right, we are going to be using it here. We first check. See if it includes the event ID. You know what? We actually don't need the event path yet, so we could just move all of this in here and also get this to be a little bit smaller. I think. And I think I'm missing the closing brace over there. So let's just go over there and close that. So one more closing param. And I think that's it. So, okay, so it has this existing files. I can really make this into a giant one-liner. I really want to, because this is just a real dumb check. If there's a file with that ID, don't write the file. If there isn't a file with that ID, go ahead and write the file. So do I really want a ton of, real estate in my code dedicated to such a simple thing? I really don't. So I really don't want this to have 2 lines of code. We're coding in a lot of different languages. JavaScript is the kind of universal one you'll find everywhere, so that's why we default to it. But yeah, we can code in any, like this is tech agnostic. I could have this as a Golang backend, and it should work. In fact, I could have a combination. I could have Nginx routing to different, URLs, and have half of these be written in Golang and half of these be written in Node.js. It shouldn't matter, because in the end, all of them are looking at what's in this event store folder. As long as both of them can see that, they'll all the pages will function the same. So you got a few little things about tokens with once we add authentication to this, where we have to pass that along between languages, which may be a little bit less intuitive, but it's still possible, and it's really nice to be able to have people code in different languages on the same solution. So definitely, I am going to do this because this is very simple logic that I don't want to get distracted by as well when I'm reading the code. And so write file if not exists, if, and I want ID not exists. So I am going to break a lot of my code right now because I just added that ID word in it. So it's not used. And ID not exists. So now it's fixed. But I want this to be one of our helper functions. So I want it to be up far away at the top, because that's kind of like what we should be using for, things like this. Right? So this is our helper function. So we have some nice organization now to our main file. And you'll notice as we add more of these slices to develop this, we're going to want to limit the impact to our code. So things such as, which events we're importing, we might do that in a separate file. We might have a separate file for subscriptions later when we have some of these state views, which really are reducing the different events to get some information out. And yeah, so I want to get through this to actually be well factored and work for most of these things, such as create space, submit topic. So submit date, submit topic. Where's the other one? Name the open space. Okay, so that's the next one. I want these to also follow logically, one after another. So as much as possible, the code should sort of flow through what your pages, like how you're walking through the different pages. I think it's a good idea to have this code really go through, create space is really where, you want this to live right after it. right? So when you show this create space page, then the name, the open space comes up here, right? And I don't like the way this code is written now because we're getting the ID here, getting the space name, we're doing this, and we're creating this. And now we have to do this without the event path and this try stuff. So we don't need this code because we have that better code up here to use, right? We have this write event if not exists, right? So let's delete that. Create event file name, so we don't need that. This really is now replaced. Oh, see, it actually knows. So it knows what I'm doing. There we go. It knows I need to replace it with that, which is good. It knows that I have this space view data, so I actually want to use the open space name data here. That should do it, and then I don't need this, right? Let's do that. So okay, so we've made this we don't have a, so this event log is really about state changes. It's not about storing the errors. I'm kind of ignoring them. I'm allowing them just to go through to the front end. I really don't want any console logs right now in this. We may do some later, but for now, we kind of want to take this as the example. Right, oops, there's a little space here. Okay, there we go. Right, we really want it to be as simple as this. So do this, create the top, all of this stuff here. You know, are we as nice as the other one there? Right. If we look here, this grabs everything from there, puts the date in, and you know, in 2 lines of code, it really has that created. Right. So we really want the same thing here. So we have const, and then we want oh, that looks better. Yeah, something like that. And we don't need this. That's redundant. Space name is required. I think I'm not sure if this is the same. I don't know. I can ask it, right? Add to chat. Is this enough? How can I make it better? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't want that requirement. I don't want it to be throwing that. But I do like the suggestion of having the trim on there so people don't put spaces in accidentally. Good enough. Good enough for now. Okay. And we have this. We actually could create that before. And Just kind of want to clean up any kind of if else's if possible. So move over here, and then we can basically do that. Yeah. And we don't need an else because returning here, status result, and then return. And we don't have to have an else. And then therefore we don't need that else. This is just a try. We don't need that. And after naming the space, we get to put, hey, here it is. How are you? Still working on this stuff. Again, you kind of caught me at the end of my day. I'm going to be off soon as soon as I get this running, but good to see you. Just cleaning up messy JavaScript, right? Yeah, this stuff again is just really dumb stuff. I want in one line. I don't want it to be ruining a lot of my white space or my spacing. Yeah, render space name. That's it. Failed to write to a system. Ugh. Again, it's taking up a lot of space. Don't like that. That's just dumb error catching. I want to try that. And then render that and catch that. And yeah, and be done. It's good enough. All right, so now I'm not scrolling too much through everything to really understand that if I name the space, I'm getting the proper information from my post. If I got the proper information from my post, I know that I have to create an event from that. Here it is. And I do some validation. If there's a problem, we go back. Otherwise, we write the event. And then we use our projection to actually show what's in there. That projection has its own logic. So we can probably move that up, because we kind of want it to be related to this area of the workflow. So we want it to sit here. So we can move this up, because this is where what we need to support by setting the name. I don't know what happened here, but our open namespace stuff. Okay, I don't know what happened here, but let's get out of here like that. Event files. Yeah, that's good. Get rid of this extra comment stuff. So this is the last one wins. So if we keep naming the space over and over again, the last name wins. That's how you get rid of update complexity in event sourcing. So then we get the last event. Yeah, and even then, we really, I think I had another one there. How am I dual streaming? Ah, magic, my friend. Get powerful servers to re-encode. And then have a stream. There's no free stuff, but there is Restream. So I use Restream, which I think for like $20 gives you 5 Restreams. So I'm only using 4 of them. Let me see if I can find it for you. Yeah, this is Restream. So yeah, I have the YouTube Twitter, LinkedIn, and then Twitch, all going through the one service. There are some caveats, like it basically makes you use 1080p, and I wanted to use 4K for better. Yeah, it's $20 a month. At least the plan I'm using. I think they have a free one. I'm not sure if it just does one or two. I forget. Anyway, maybe they don't. It's pretty intense stuff to re-encode. But anyway, I tried to do a 4K stream because Twitch allows 4K, and I kind of want the higher resolution rather than the higher frame rate, like for video games. Because even at like 20 frames a second, if you're seeing like 4K plus, you can read all of the code. But then I know that obviously people are trying to watch this on their phones at night and stuff like that. So I kind of gave up on that idea. So the reason that was an issue is YouTube won't start streaming automatically if you're 4K. You have to have an event set up specifically for it and things like that. I think it's not really YouTube's fault. It's the way that Restream has their API, how Restream uses the YouTube API, that they don't have that capability yet. It's just not many people are asking for it. So anyway, that's how I'm doing this on multiple streams. So yeah, good question. Hopefully you'll start using that too. Error message. Oh, we had a proper thing here. This is bad. I got rid of some nice code. Or did I? Because this error was kind of cool. That if we had an issue here, it would give me an error message. Sort reverse, blah, blah, blah. No name exists yet. Something like that. Anyway. Yeah, sometimes you want error message to be embedded in state views. State views can't fail a workflow process. They have to accept whatever the error, like whatever the event history is. So if that history is somehow wrong, you can't throw an exception. You just have to find some other way to indicate that something is not good. So I mean, I could basically wrap all this with a try catch if there's any issues with all this crap. It kind of knows what I want to do. Okay, that's good. Return da 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 da. Okay, yeah. I think this is good. Right? It tries all this and it returns no error message and all that. Otherwise, it throws the error message, no events found. I want to say no name, no space has been created yet. Something like that. That's better. Right. Okay, good. So we have our application spinning up. The default goes to the create space, which will give us the create space UI. It feeds it UUID. And then, of course, when we submit, we grab that ID and whatever the space name was, and we write it. Okay, and we rinse repeat for everything else. So set dates, right? So set dates, we get the space name, space view data space name. Again, I really don't like that. Open space name like that. That should be good. Then we don't have extra logic here. And of course, we feed the ID as we did before. And this is dumb code again, boilerplate, the kind of stuff. I really don't want to have multiple lines of code, multiple lines in my editor eaten up by boilerplatey stuff. So I'm just going to shrink it all to that. gives me what I need, and that's it. And then we can set the dates, and then we have a path for submit the dates, right? So here's that. I want to get rid of this comment, and we can improve this code now to make it look like the other one. So let's move this up to where it belongs. Name the open space, and here we can submit topic, set dates. So we're right before the set dates and submit dates. And of course we can later refactor the names of the routes so they look nicer and kind of make sense. Just been hacking on this randomly. So, but again, it's doing what the event model shows. So here we go. This is why we want to have a set, like a pattern, right? So we need to kind of see that we're constantly doing the same thing over and over again. That's way easier to now develop new functionality because we really copy paste our approach from one to the other. You can see that we get whatever user information is provided along with the ID. So here they're supplying the end and start, the start and end date, and the ID is again provided by that form. We populate our date range set event, which has the ID at the beginning, which I don't like. I think I want to be consistent by having the non-important information at the end. I know that this is very unconventional because most people put the ID at the very beginning, but really this is not that interesting. I guess it doesn't really matter where it is in terms of here, but I kind of want it to be consistent at least there too. That's fine. Oops, closed up that too much. There we go. So that's that, and now we want this obviously to be consistent there. Thank you. And then we want to try this whole stuff, so we don't really need to make the path explicitly ourselves. That's now done in our helper function to just say, hey, write this file. So I don't need an if exists or whatever. We can, and we don't need all this boiler, like this ugly code here that's manipulating everything. That's already been encapsulated in our write if not exist state range event. So that's good. We also don't want too much space taken up by this code. So we're going to try, see, this kind of reads like a sentence. Try writing the event if it doesn't exist. You and me both. We should write the book together. I'll write my book, you write yours. Here it is. We'll do this together. We'll help each other. So after the submit dates, we don't really have a oh, okay, cool. So we have this. You and me both. Yeah, there's a lot of like learn algorithms, learn lead code. That's all you need for learning stuff. But I think what we're doing here is helping a lot more in terms of people not getting distracted by the details. Let's see. This crap as well, I don't care about being all on the same page. That's a cool topic. Yeah, I'd read that. I would definitely buy your book. Great. So now, okay, so notice how interesting. So we can move this up into here. Oops. What did I do? Mm-hmm. 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 So I'm glad that you're writing a book, Eurydice. That would be really cool. We need more good books. All right, so does this now look the same as the other step? So getting their information. We're making the event. You can let AI write it for you. You just prompt it, like, make me a paragraph about this. It's actually not a half bad idea. We could interview each other and then say, what aspect do you want to talk about in such and such chapter? And I'll give you some structure, maybe. Right? I mean, it's good at that. It has a lot of, like, it's trained on data from like published books and articles. So if you suck at writing, I think you can get the structure. Well, that's good. So, like, yeah, we can talk all day about it, record it, get a transcript, prompt AI to basically say, hey, can you make this into a chapter? And off we go. Right? And then just re-edit it later, or ask someone, hire an editor to edit it for you. So totally doable. But yeah, sometimes I just need killing the aggregate. I know. Yeah, I mean everyone wants to kill the aggregate that I know anyway, or at least revisit. Um, what an aggregate is. No, of course it is, and I mean, I no longer talk about aggregates when I'm talking about event modeling. I really want people to see the data for what it is and make their own, their own coupling of different events based on the properties and the data in them. So I'm already doing that. I think a lot of people are realizing that, that's the next step. What about Discord? Are you chatting in there? Let me check Discord. No, no one's chatting in there. That's just my post. Oh, I don't have time. I'd love to chat with you today, but I gotta really finish this. And tomorrow, why don't I ping you before I start, and we can do that. Because I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm still in the middle of moving, so I gotta do a lot of things, and there's like a water leak somewhere too that I gotta take care of, with plumbers and whatever. So it's not a fun day. I gotta get I gotta get on with it. But I didn't really want to leave the solution in kind of a crappy state. I kind of wanted to have this this thing here, and I want to get rid of some of these things here, right? I want to really make sure that this kind of makes sense now. So yeah, we got our boilerplate stuff, doing everything that needs to happen here. I think this is still too generic. We can move all this crap up. At least this one. I don't like that here. That's better. I'm gonna show people what you're doing. Where did that go? Okay. So where does this go? Copy link address. It's about Elixir. You and your Elixir. Cool. Okay. It has many states per command handler. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't have time to read it. Maybe tomorrow you want to read about the register transaction script. That is to have strongest cohesion possible use case. Discouraging patterns around single command handler that handles multiple commands that over time can become God module. Okay, cool. Let's take this apart tomorrow. But sorry for people that can't read because it's too small. I'll zoom in. Here it is. This is get behind. So Yordis wrote this at hexdocs.pm. I don't know if that's your site, but anyway. So we don't want God modules. Yes, correct. But cool. Okay, let's discuss this tomorrow. This is our it's from our chat the other day. Cool. This is our error. Let's see if we can actually get through a couple of these. We have no events. No events in our event store. Let's start to run this. So node, okay, doing this. It errored out. What do I do? App equals express. Grown. Really? Why is it causing issues? What did I do? Cannot access express before initialization. Oh, duh. What line of code is that? 3. Boo. See? Just debug. What did I drop? Oh, app use express. Oh, duh. Okay, here it is. Time for me to go if I can't see that. Let's try again. Okay, good. So now it's listening to that. Sweet. Let's do event modeling. Open spaces. That name. Failed to write the event to the system. Boo. Alright, I guess I have to add some more error handling. Name the open space. And it failed to write, so it caused an issue here. Open spaces, write if not exists. Event store, did it actually do it? Nope, it didn't write it. So literally it caused, there's an issue here somewhere. So let's break this up into separate lines. Filter, read sync includes da 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 da. I don't know if that's the issue. Fs append, create file name with path. Is this missing? Did I delete that? Oh, I think that's what it is. Okay. Fail fast. Event constructor, create event file name with path. Do I really need all this? I guess. Did I delete it? I did delete it, didn't I? Okay, we can make it again. Kind of didn't like that function anyway. Huh. It knew what I used to have. That's really cool, actually. That's crazy. It's kind of scary because I deleted that and it knows that it's in. Very creepy. So here it is tomorrow. Let's do it. Set name. Really? Still not writing the file. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to introduce a name. And it's append. I think it's write file sync. Is that the problem? Yeah, because I think it's just either should work, but I think write. Anyway, I'm going to. Oh, it's an event. Duh. That's causing issues here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Create file. And then, yeah, that's kind of what it wants. Okay, so maybe that's enough for it to work. Yes, okay, so now we should see this here. And it's got a good specification for the time. I don't know about time here. 24 milliseconds, whatever. Good enough for now. Got the UUID in the middle, and it's got the event type in the name. Okay. Space name. Yep. Type, ID, timestamp. Okay, good. So that now works. And then, so we continue. We can now set the dates, 6th and 7th, and set the date range. Date successfully set. Oh, okay, good. Cannot get next steps. Okay, so next steps. I don't know why that is, but now, oh, we got both. So we got, oh, but it's got undefined. So this did it correctly, but it doesn't have ID. So our event for set dates doesn't have the ID. I know we're fooling around with that, so let's just make sure we do this correctly. There's the ID, which we didn't send to the create space. Yep, I don't think the create space view has that. Views, create space, name the open space. Where's the name of the open space? Oh, that's what it's, okay, so create space, render create space. Button input, hidden ID. Okay, it's there. So why is it not coming back? So space ID, okay. Okay, that's naming the open space. Sorry, the set dates is what's not working. So we have that. The ID is not defined. So set dates is what doesn't have an ID. I don't like all this stuff here. For now, I'll just keep it. Right. So input hidden, that's what's missing. Let's delete all of these. Okay, and let's run this again. And get rid of these guys and go to localhost. So let's start from scratch. Yep, there we go. Event modeling open spaces, set the name. Okay, the space named event has been created. Okay, good. Continue. Continue. Now we do the 6th to the 7th and set range. Date 7 successfully set. Okay, good. Good. And then to next steps. Okay, so we've got that part working. And topic submitted, we have to get to next, which is going to have the same thing, but we have to, instead of next steps, get to that way. Okay, cool. So also I probably want to get something like this whole thing as a function. This render thing. Because I'm repeating this stuff here. And yeah. Anyway, that we can make this nice and tight so there's very little overhead in doing that. So let's so we want to go to submit topic. So submit topic get, submit topic post. So yeah, we could probably rename these routes so they're the same, right? We have create space and then post create space should be fine. Set dates and set dates should be fine. So probably clean that up as well. That'll a nice clean solution will also be easier for the AI to kind of get the conventions that we have in here, and it'll make it really fast, make it really helpful, and make it fast to develop new features that we want. So, but for now, let's just continue to this date range thing. We want to move that up to where we're doing that. Also looks pretty messy for now. So submit dates, set dates. So we want this function here. Golazo? What? I think I this is not a soccer joke because I said messy. Okay. I got it. Very funny. You know what's sad? The Inter Miami played Vancouver over the weekend. I think Saturday or Friday or something like that last week. And Messi didn't play. So bad. Anyway, was hoping that we would be able to see that in Vancouver, but nope. Maybe at another time. He's retired anyway. He's made all the money he ever needs. So this looks okay. This last event thing, we can make some helper functions for all this stuff, right? Like, you know, did we do something nicer for this one? Well, I'm talking about his own money too. Like, I don't think he needs to do anything. It's set. Yeah, this last one wins is kind of interesting. A lot of these, a lot of the state views are kind of last one wins. Like, what is the last thing, especially when you have cruddy parts of your application. You just want to look at the last update event. So, you know, all of this could be, you know, get last event of this type. Right? So it could be part of our, you know, we have get all event file names. We have create, you know, file name with path, write event if it doesn't exist, right? Which we can shrink again to one line because we got that working. So we certainly could have another one here called get last event of type for now. And so this will change once we get into multi-tenancy authentication, all sorts of stuff. We'll have to break this apart again. But this serves as a really good example of, you know, how, you know, little code is, you know, last event here, right? So basically I want to replace all of this and this to be, you know, the last event function. So I could actually ask for that. You know, add to chat. Make last event function. Let's see if it knows what I'm talking about. Yep. It's good. But then wait a second. Nope, it didn't do it. Event function that open space SV and other SV functions and call when just looking for the last event. Yes. But we want, yes, so good. So it does pass that in. We don't have to repeat all this garbage. Good. Good. Apply. Get all events. Okay, as long as it doesn't cause issues with anything else, it's adding. It's getting rid of this declaration and putting it down here. That's fine. And it's adding this function. Okay, so I think that's okay. Sweet. Event files. Yeah, let's there's a helper function, so let's make it tiny. Because we're try catching everything here anyway. I really don't care. And then this event path can be all that as well. Get rid of that. Do that. Oh, that's good. Return, what is it returning? Null. I guess null's fine, whatever. And okay, I will, just so we can see the return null on a separate line. I think I'll keep it to 2 lines instead of just 1. But here's another helper function that can go up. Get last event, write event if ID not exists. Create event file name with path. Yep. Is that only used in the, where is that used? Only in one place? Yeah, that's only used in one place, so we can get rid of that. Create event file name with path. Yeah, we don't really need that function anywhere else. This, okay. And it actually uses the same name of the parameter, so we can just shove all that in there. Yeah. Yep. Gets rid of more complexity. And so we can get rid of that. Good. That means we don't need this. Okay. Let's do a sanity check and run this again. Let's go to this. Event modeling open space. Continue. Works beautifully. Awesome. Fix. The 7th. Set date range. Perfect. Okay. Good. So yeah, we shrank the code quite a bit. Got our silly boilerplate framework setup crap here. Here we have our events that we're dealing with. Again, I really want to move this somewhere else, but this should merge very easily when we're working on stuff. We're just going to be adding more and more. It's very additive only, even when we change events to be a version 2, which we will actually get to. So that's one of the things that we want to experiment with. So that's good. In fact, I think because this is very boilerplate, we kind of want to move. I always do upcasters. I don't make a whole. I mean, they are new streams. I think. No, I don't. I think we keep it in the same stream. I forget. Anyway, I think we do. I'll check. So you're just asked about what my stand is on upcasters versus a V2 stream. So that's just if you add a new ID for a new version. I guess at some point, if the V2 is such a big change that you would need a new ID for your stream, but I think we just keep the same ID for existing entities and start adding V2s to it. Really depends on this aggregate conversation also that we're having. So we'll see when we get there what happens. Okay, I'm moving these down because they are more important here, I think. This is more generic code up here. This is more application specific. I want my application become more and more application specific the further down I scroll. I really want to be able to condense all this. I might just wrap it in an anonymous function that's executed right away or something like that. I don't know if there's a good way to get all this boilerplate out of the way, especially up here, the first 12 lines. So yeah, now we're kind of getting into, okay, this application uses these things. The start is on the create space for now anyway. We may do this some dynamic stuff looking at the events already stored and throw someone into a appropriate step in the process. But anyway, looking good slowly. Looking better anyway. We've really got, get all event file names. So that gives us, an ability to get specific filter on specific types of events even. Then we write an event if that ID doesn't exist yet. So definitely don't, we don't want things to get double posted when we refresh the page, right? Because that's what happened when, when we went here and we went forward and we refreshed this page and we submit again, it shouldn't have, a new event, and it's not doing that. But if we didn't have that little check here in this particular piece where we check whether something exists yet or not, then we get duplicates. That's what we're getting, because every time you refresh a page, we have like a post get chain here in this workflow. We're going get post all the way through, and so when you have a page in the middle of it and you refresh it, it resubmits the post data, and then if you're not checking for duplicates or that you already did something, you're going to store the same event again. And so that's what we're getting. If you check the stream yesterday or the day before, that's what we dealt with at that point. But oh, look at this. We have another cleanup job here. This belongs at the top. Oops. It does not belong here. This will also help the AI know where, the dynamic code is and where this generic stuff belongs. So it's not going to throw it off, which is quite important. So I guess hopefully people are also learning how to use AI better. It's much easier if you are making these small efforts of coding, especially when you look at the event model. Look how tiny we got the solution here. Isn't that beautiful? When you're looking at this and you dissect your solution to kind of look quite nice and beautiful in terms of what steps you take. I know we definitely can do entire use cases by tab. So once these posts and gets, we get into a rhythm of all this. Oh, what is this? Get rid of that. We will have this ability to allow most of it to be auto-generated. We already saw some pretty cool stuff that it was doing. So even with this messy, gross kind of layout that we had here. So, but anyway, we sort of have this create space and all of that really synonymous with, let's get rid of all these other silly things here and just look at it, because it's so nice to see that, all of this, maps to this post here, right? And then showing this particular page is really about this rendering this here. So this is really the green box right here, right? Which is here. So this is your green box that you see here. Right, the arrow here is really just the fact that it's reading all of the events, which is kind of cool. And then over here you continued just a UI, right? So we didn't bother with a continue button. We just go straight to the next one. So I guess if we I guess we do have a continue button. I forgot. Views, confirmation page has this continue, right? Set dates. So it actually goes to the set dates thing here. So we go to the set dates part and then, oops, what am I doing? Did I add something? This is in the wrong place. I kind of want to move this error message to be at the end here because it's less important. Get rid of this little comma. So if we have a last event, we just return that. Super easy. Else, of course, we return an error message, and the rest is not as interesting. Look at how concise and small that code is. So we just get the last event and just return the data in it. If there's nothing, we just return that nothing's been done. Isn't that readable? Amazing. So again, it's not about readable code. We'll get to the part where we don't want readable code. When we get into, some of these state views that are tricky code, we're not going to be doing this. This is really for some common patterns. We really want a good way of dealing with them. Right. The same thing here, right? We have all of this stuff. Yeah, simple first. So yeah, again, this part here needs to be, look at all this stuff. We don't want any file system stuff in here. This is just a projection, and here all we really want is the last event. We could say get all events, and kind of use a map reduce where the function is, this reducer that basically just erases the accumulated value with the last one, and we will kind of not need a get last event helper, right? We could get all events with this function name, right? But then I don't want to be picking apart the file name in here like it does here, right? I guess it says includes ID, so it's not so bad. We could probably do it and make it more generic. Although this does give better naming for people that are not familiar with some functional some functional paradigms. So get last event. Okay, I'm getting the last event of type this, right? And probably rename it to of type that. Again, not too worried. All this stuff is going to get used over and over again, so I'm not even including any unit tests because, well, nothing will work if it doesn't work, so not going to bother. And this is really similar to this pattern, so I can say, let's try this. Let's see if it's smart enough to do this. Add to chat. Make this as compact as open space name SV is. Let's see if it's smart enough to shrink the code to kind of how I like it here. Ooh, it's even better. Doesn't it need a try catch in there? I guess not. I think it even did a better job. Okay. Okay. Wow, impressive. Impressive. All right. Yeah. I don't know what to say. Edit. Change to ternary. All right. I guess I've been shown. Again, this looks very formulaic. There must be a better way to do this, I guess. What is this current date? Do we even have that? I don't think we need that. Why did it add the current date in there? I think that's dreaming. We really don't need current date, do we? Confirm, submit topic, space created, confirmation. Yeah, we have error. We don't have that. Okay, so we don't need it. That's crazy. Okay, so it is kind of getting tripped up by thinking we need that. Yeah, I don't need this. Okay. My headphones are doing something, which is odd. Okay, I turned them off. And back on. Seems to be working again. All right, so wow. Okay, very clean, very clean, very clean. Session. This is a different one. So sessions submit topic is good. ID has to be. This is not where the ID comes from. Comes from the request. Submit topic. This is query. Request body. So, oh, there's an echo. Let's see. Hello. Hello. Oh, because okay. Hello. Hello. Is it good now? How did I get the echo? Okay. If no echo. Hello, hello, hello. It's very strange how this can combine a whole bunch of stuff. Is there still an echo? No echo still. Okay, I'm not sure how that happened, but put that away. Okay. So submit topic. Submit topic is submit topic handlebars, facilitation name, blah blah blah, hidden ID. Yep. Good button form. Where is the end of the form? What the heck? All right. Thank you for letting me know, everyone. It's bizarre that this had a form tag missing. All right, so we have the ID that's provided. Submit topic, and just have to make sure we have the, okay, so let's get submit topic, render event name ID. Do we actually have the name? Oh yes, the event name and the ID have to be provided. We don't need this here because that's what's creating it. This can be included here, and we can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. We can make this the new ID. All default stuff, so really don't want it to be taking too much room. Good enough. I can still read everything. And that's that. And then sessions, we want this to be just up here. And the post we have here. This is the last one where we have all of this stuff kind of done. This way, write event if not exists. I think this was cleaned up. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good. And so I think just after the submit dates, where do we go to? Render set dates confirmation. Where do we have the next step thing? So we create this thing. We set dates. When we go to submit dates, we render this. Set dates confirmation. Why are we not going there? I'm missing something. Because when we set the dates, when we posted this information, it wrote this date range event. And then it rendered the set dates confirmation. It's supposed to be set dates confirmation with every date that we have here, or an error message. So why is that part not working? Let's rerun it and see why that's not working. Go back to the beginning. Set that. Space named as that. Cool. Now we do the 6th and the 7th and set range. Okay, so it is the confirmation. So the confirmation page doesn't have the right continue button. set dates. So it just goes back to set dates. Class continue button. So it should go to submit topic, right? Okay. Submit topic, post and get. I like how this is properly named with post and get to the same thing. We're going to have to fix all that other stuff up. Let's shrink this a bit. But I think I'm going to leave it there for now. I think tomorrow we start to work on the event model to get to the more fun parts. But I think we got our 3 areas all getting the blue and green boxes implemented with very little code, which is nice. So let's just give it a run through, see if that last redirect is actually working. Go here. We could probably, since we're going through it again, I could throw in another feature where, you know, if we don't have a name done yet, we can render the name here. So we can take this open name SV here and populate the name in the, let's try that. Let's just grab this so that if we already have a name and we go to the beginning, right? And then go to create space and then text space name required type. Use the provided name. And that should be good enough, right? So if we now start the application from scratch and go to this, no, it's not doing it. Why not? Space, what is that? So it gives me space name, maps that. So I'm really curious why it's not. Oh, space name, duh. That should do it, right? Because it's, what's it called here? Space name. Yeah, space name. So I think that's all that it was. It should pre-populate it with, yes, okay. So if we rename it, it should be just em open spaces. It should add another event. And here in events, in the event store, we should have that. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. So that works. I like that. So if we have previous information, we could do that. So maybe that's another exercise for tomorrow, or someone wants to do a pull request, you can start to add these, you know, if there was events already from previous runs of this, they can pre-populate default values as you're going through this. So that was fun. Look how much code we deleted. That is always an amazing thing. We're down to 73 lines of code. Really cool. And we have a lot of stuff in here. So git status. What did we do? Okay, we did a lot. App.js, obviously the diagram is is updated. I didn't really add any new slices. I kind of improved the ones that we were already doing. Yeah, didn't really add anything. We deleted some old code which we're not using, and it's still in history. So if you want to, take those first attempts that others have done, go ahead and revisit an older commit to look at those. But currently, it's just going to be adding everything, and we're going to just call this a cleanup session that allows a simpler view to the event sourcing solution. We'll push that up. You guys can look at it if you like, and I think I'm going to sign off because I've been on for quite a while. We discussed a few things. Hopefully Yurdis will join tomorrow. Again, don't forget about the open spaces in Berlin, free tickets, come by, and the workshop as well on the 6th, the day before. There's still room, so sign up and you'll get taught all this stuff all day long. So hopefully I'll see you there. And I've got 10 days to go, so 9 days tomorrow. I'll see you on the stream tomorrow. And yeah, until then, I hope you have a good day or good night, whatever your time zone is.